So we did get a parking question. It's an issue and a problem. We have, quote, preferred parking we pay for, yet the more large developments are not providing adequate parking. Is there a plan in place?
So currently we have more than 18 million parking spots in the city for 4.5 million residents. Which means we've lost a lot of public space which we could be using for housing, for homeless service, for park space, for public use in general. It does feel in neighborhoods where more housing is going on and more cars are flooding the street that we are losing control of our neighborhoods, and I completely get it, but that is again an abdication of responsibility by our city council and our county metro board, because as we're building this housing, we have to get serious about bumping up our transit, building out our mobility lanes, making our sidewalks safe to walk on, because the fact is the housing has to come. It has to come, but it cannot translate as to, and so many more cars have to come too. It can't translate to that because we cannot sit in traffic all day. As we sit in traffic all day, we're dumping tons of carbon into the air, and our streets are becoming much more unsafe as we get more frustrated sitting in our cars and driving like crazy people when we have an option to do so. This is a public safety hazard today when we're running people over in the street. It's a public safety hazard as our air gets worse. My 11-year-old, who is a healthy person and not asthmatic, has struggled to breathe on several days this year. Our air quality gets worse every year for 19 years. It's gotten worse and worse and worse, and is the worst in the nation. And it's also a major climate problem because we are dumping so much carbon into the air as we are continuing to put cars on the road. We have to take other action. And we can do this. We can have housing, and we can have transit, and we can stop the taking over of our public space by cars we shouldn't need to have. And just to circle back to something we had said earlier, for me, I am in favor of parking minimums being eliminated on transit zones, because I think people who move to transit zones would like to be able to use robust transit, and we should be prioritizing those needs on those lanes, because we have to strategize ways to make it less convenient to drive for people who don't need to.
So same question. People feel like they are paying for preferred parking, but that larger developers are not providing enough adequate parking. Do you agree with this? And if so, what is the plan to provide more adequate parking?
Yeah, I mean, I think I would actually probably agree with what Sarah Kate said, that in many parts of the city, I think we have actually probably too much parking, especially in places that are near transit. So I think we really just need to think about making sure that we have parking in places which are not near transit. I would agree that we also need to invest in transit in places where we're actually reducing the number of parking spaces available. I think, what I said about taking the train home and then trying to catch a bus, I think the kinds of headways that we're seeing on buses and on trains right now are making it untenable for people to use public transit. And so I really think that we can actually increase public transit ridership. We're investing billions in doing that right now, but if we don't increase the quality of service that we're providing, we're never going to see the kinds of increases in ridership that we need in order to actually pull cars off the roads. And so it has to be a holistic response. Parking does not happen in a vacuum. I think we really need to think about it as part of a much broader landscape of issues that we're responding to.
Just out of curiosity, show of hands, how many people in this room have ever taken the LA Metro? Bus or awesome. How many take it on at least a monthly basis? How many people do it at least 3 times a week? This is amazing. I'm moving to this council district. Tell you something, Hollywood Hills West, not so much.